What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel and to another Outriders video. I know it's a spicy, controversial topic that we're going to be discussing today, but as the thumbnail and the title of this video suggests, I would like to discuss whether we need nerfs before or basically as Worldslayer, the DLC, the expansion for Outriders launches, and why I actually think that this needs to happen for us to see better growth when that expansion drops and just for the general health of the game. Now let me preface this by saying that I always have to keep in mind that when I discuss something like this, or when I discuss Outriders, I'm very much an outlier when it comes to, you know, the general Outriders player. I'm of course someone, we know that this game is extremely popular on the channel. It's extremely popular to me as a player, and it's a game that I've sunk many hours into, and that I've farmed every conceivable build, every conceivable gear piece, and just the best roles for everything that I could possibly get. So that puts me in kind of like, I suppose, what you could say the top 5% or the top 1% in terms of the options that are available to me when I play the game. And so therefore I'm able to field the best builds and essentially have the best weapons and everything like that going into every expedition or every kind of situation in Outriders. But again, like I said, I am not representative of the general population that plays the game. That plays the game for a few hours every day, either solo or with your buddies. You dabble in some builds, you haven't spent hours and hours and hours on min-maxing things, and you're just generally playing the game, let's say at a different level or at a different enjoyment, you know, of the game itself. The reason why this is important is because I don't want it to seem as, you know, I'm tired of the game or the game is too easy for me and that's why I'm saying this. But rather, as I've said at the beginning of this video, it comes from a perspective of what would be healthy for the expedition, but healthy for the expansion and the DLC, and to essentially increase the longevity of that. Now, first and foremost, if you don't agree with me, that's 100% fine though, because in the end, I'm just some dude with a beard with a YouTube channel. So don't see it that I'm essentially trying to take fun away from you and that I don't want you to have the strongest weapons and the best gear and all of that. But rather, let's have a discussion and let's see, you know, where we land at the end of that. So first things first, I mean, if we look at the current state of the game right now, and generally speaking, how this sort of thing is dealt with in other looter shooters, the difference fundamentally between Outriders and, let's compare it to Destiny 2, right? Which is a game in the same sphere. It's not really the same thing, but it certainly has a lot of, you know, things that you can sort of parallel between the two games, and both of them are looter shooters down to their cores, and both of them are built on a games as a service model, whereas Outriders just ended up like not really going, you know, fully into the GASS or the GAS route, as they say. Now, currently where Outriders is of course, it's been a long time since we've had new content. We of course had the New Horizons update, which brought new expeditions, but we didn't see new gear coming to the game. It's also been a while since gear really has been adjusted. And so if you were to look at a meta in Outriders, that meta has settled a long time ago already. We know by looking at the builds that are used to speedrun the game, we know which builds are more efficient at certain expeditions, whether they are monster or human expeditions, which ones can run the quickest while having a high risk of dying, whereas other ones can run slower and essentially, you know, be tanky as hell and essentially never die. The point is, I think that pretty much everything in terms of what is best in Outriders right now is fleshed out. I doubt we're going to see anybody jumping up right now going, holy shit guys, I discovered this brand new thing in Outriders which is so OP, nobody's ever seen it before. And the point is, that's natural in a game. So that means that the power creep has reached up to a point, and so the best gear, the best builds and everything like that has been identified. How games like Destiny 2, for instance, deal with the situation and to keep everything fresh and to not have players feel like, I farmed the best gear, there's no reason for me to play this game anymore, I can kill everything with one shot, I don't give a shit, whatever, is that of course they either introduce season models, or they sunset weapons, or they leave a weapon at a certain strength level for one season and then they kind of like nerf that weapon or basically reduce its potency, and therefore allowing other weapons to essentially rise up. Now, that would be, of course, the more natural way to do it. But again, Outriders is outside this model because this seasonal model doesn't really apply. And so Outriders is really built on the, we'll release, you know, a piece of DLC or an expedition, so rather an expansion every couple of months, or in this case, basically more than a year later. and this will contain all of the little changes and everything that we have. Now, Outriders, the developers themselves, People Can Fly, of course, got a lot of flack at the very beginning of the launch of the game by adjusting damage values of certain things and nerfing certain items and nerfing certain builds and all of that. And that was, of course, a big thing that, you know, the community, you know, held against them. And so I think it kind of makes sense that in the last couple of months, they've just sort of like buttoned down and they've just worked on the expansion. But to get back to our original point, since we don't have this natural adjustment of the power creep with regards to seasons, anything like that, it means that when Worldslayer launches, whenever it comes out, when it launches, you will have these extremely powerful weapon and armor and build combinations which are available there. And unless there's some kind of mechanic, like suddenly the game works completely different, or it's just 4 times as difficult, enemies have 4 times as much life and everything, which, let's be honest, none of these things are going to happen. You're going to have people that have the ability to essentially blast through the game instantly. And for those players, or for anyone for that matter that farms up the gear, whether you then start playing the expansion and it takes you a while to get there, for those players, it's going to feel as if there's no natural reward, there's no natural power curve, because you'll already be like hella powerful and already be able to just like smooth walk your way through an entire expansion. And this will really be the case, because where we're looking at today and what you're able to do today, where you can have CT15 capable characters that can carry 2 characters, other characters in the party that aren't even capable of running CT15, and essentially kill all the enemies while taking all of the damage and being able to survive all of that, tank everything, and basically carry the other, you know, people through. It means that the power creep, or the power level for the current set as it is right now, is too high. So my point is that unless there's something that's going to happen, and again, I could be overthinking the hell out of this, and that once Worldslayer launches, there's for instance, you know, let's say an additional 5 or 10 levels added that you can level up, and in those 5 or 10 levels you have to level up your weapons as well, of course, to stay equal to the level. And in doing that, it randomizes the stats of your weapon and essentially re-rolls it again, maybe rolling away your perfect rolls, your min-max rolls, your best rolls, and essentially kind of naturally adjusting your power down that way. However, I think that would probably be really, really unpopular, and I think you'd have a lot of people complaining, saying, I played for like 400 hours until I got like a 96k whatever rolled primary weapon that I wanted to use, and now randomly it rolled me down to 80, and that's just terrible. So if anything, the 2 things that I'd like you to take away from this video, and I'm not going to keep you for much longer, is that I do think that naturally it would be good for the game to look at, or for the developers to look at, certain builds, certain gear in the game, and perhaps adjust it in line with either the rest, or kind of normalize it in such a way as to whatever is coming in the expansion not to be completely just, you know, blasted out of the water immediately as something that, you know, just doesn't compare to this, you know, gear that you farmed up to this point. Or that was one, or secondly, I hope that there's something that I'm not thinking about, that we as players, that people that have been discussing this haven't thought about, that they've worked into this somehow, that is going to take care of the situation without actually running into this problem. However, I do unfortunately believe, and knowing how vocal the Outriders community, and it is definitely one of the communities that I've been part of, that, you know, staunchly love the game, that are fiercely, you know, what's the word I'm looking for, reactive to things that happen in the game. And so I think either which way, People Can Fly are going to sit with a situation where they're not going to be able to please all of the people. So I would rather them not try to please all of the people, but rather look at the health of the game. And the idea here being that whatever changes they make makes it so that people don't just buy the expansion and play it for 2 weeks and blast through the content and then go, there's nothing new for me, yeah, I'm already the most powerful fucking character I can be, goodbye, and bail out. And rather have it be something that has longevity and gets us to play it for however long it takes them to bring out the next expansion or the next DLC. But in any case, guys, this was completely unscripted. I just sort of turned the the camera on, and I just wanted to have a general discussion around this topic. Like I said, this is something that gets discussed quite a lot with me and my Outriders contemporaries, and of course people in the Discord. So go ahead and check the description on this video for an invite to the Discord if that is something that you're interested in. There's areas for people to play Outriders together, as well as all of the other games that are featured on this channel, and it's generally just a great community of like-minded gamers that hang out and are willing to help each other. So we'd love to have you, so check it out if you feel like that. But that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts about it are. Do you feel like no, don't touch any of the weapons, leave it exactly as it is, and just give us more, just give us more weapons, more powerful shit that's better than what we have right now, and just let us become like insanely powerful that we can just one-shot everything and move through the game as fast as possible? Or do you think that somehow there should be some adjustments made, there should be a balance pass or something like that done to kind of just rein in some of these really OP weapon and armor combinations that are out in the wild right now, and that basically trivialize content at the moment? That's it. It's just super important to me that you have a fantastic morning, a great afternoon, and a super awesome evening wherever you are in the world. And until next video, fucking cheers.
They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me.